Hey everybody. So I know that EE is probably not the top of your list right now of things to do. But with all this extra time that we have home, I'm actually thinking that EE might be more organized than it has ever been. Because we really have been needing to keep things documented virtually, and that's always been kind of a weakness in our EE program. And so now we're kind of being forced to do that. And so I'm going to show you some things that I've posted. Now, I want to tell you this screencast is for both supervisors and students. So there's going to be some things I talk about that are related to supervisors and some to students. But I just want everybody to hear the same message. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to tell you is that Roddy and I have talked about, we are working on this week getting out a tutorial to you guys about how to access all of our school resources for research. And so here's our little hint. If you want to get into our databases, the password is Elvis. And so she's going to give us a tutorial that will allow us to allow you to figure out how to get on and how to use the resources we have to the best of your ability. And she's also going to post that last presentation that she did for doing Boolean searches and all of that kind of stuff. Now, so that's coming later next week, just FYI. The next thing, though, is that in the meantime, before that happens, I would like for you to try to connect with your supervisors, and supervisors try to connect with your students. And so the way that I want you to do that is really using this notes feature down here. So I'm using Nathan Yeager as an example because supervisors, I'm going to be sending you a sample virtual meeting that Mr. Reynolds did with Nathan, and it's a really good. It's like a 20-minute video. If you've been at this for a while, you may not need to watch the whole thing. I would maybe skim through it. But if you're new at it, and especially if you're science, I would really recommend watching it because Chris has been doing this for a bit, and he knows kind of how the process works and what the EE examiners are looking for. So here's what I want you to do. If you are going to reach out to each other, please don't use emails. We are all being inundated with tons of emails right now. I get that. And so they could so easily get lost in the shuffle. And we are going to have a lot of EE supervisors sort of changing roles next year. So, Mr. Reynolds is going to be gone. I might be giving some of mine over to Miss Pettit Shaheen. There's a new history teacher coming in. So there's going to be a lot of moving around of supervisors. So documentation is going to be super, super important for you guys so that they know what to write on the engagement part of your EE next year. So really, documentation here on Management is going to be super important. So what I would like for you to do is, if you need to get in touch with your supervisor, or supervisors, if you need to get in touch with your students, do it this way. Okay. Now, I don't want to show that too much, but there is a feature here, supervisors. If you reach out to a student and they don't respond, or they don't have a lot to offer when you meet or whatever, you can record an interview note. And that note is only available for teachers to see. It is not available for the students to see. So if you have some thoughts about, like, the students not fully, participating, or it didn't show up, or hadn't done the research or something like that, you can write that and just record it as an interview note, and the students won't see it. That's not a secret from you. It's just that we are assessing you. And so as we go through this process, engagement is part of it. So just know that, periodically we might record an interview note. A lot of supervisors also use the interview note as a way of just writing notes of what y'all talked about, amount of time you met, and that sort of thing. Just so that if you aren't keeping good notes, they have access to know how long you've met and that sort of thing. So use that notes feature for all communication. That's super, super important. But here's the deal. If you decide to have a virtual meeting, like if you and y'all can set it up here, as you see Nathan and Mr. Reynolds did set up one, and like I said, we recorded it and I will share with supervisors. But you can do all of your communication there. But if you did do a virtual meeting, here's what I would suggest. They're not wanting us to record students talking so much, but this is really just between you and your supervisor and me as the EU coordinator. I mean, this isn't going to be published anywhere. So I would suggest that if I was to, meet with my supervisor and we recorded it, what I might do is put that video. So I've got that meeting right here. Reynolds did the super fun background thing, which I haven't quite figured out yet. But I could copy that link and I could put it actually into my researcher reflection space. Whoops, why did it do that? Sorry, forgive. Let's see here. So I'm going to copy that again. Let me try. Copy and then paste that. And I could have that entry there. And so that's going to show up on my researcher reflection space. I could even edit that entry and say, because this video was 23 minutes. See, actually, I can't do that. I could put a new entry right above it. And Nathan, I'm doing this for you, so you're not going to have to go back in and do this. So whenever you're recording time, the big thing is I always tell people, use cap locks and use bold. So check in, session, sorry, I didn't do caps. Check in, session, 23 minutes. And you can round it up because they actually do round up the minutes to the hour. So if I put that in there, when I am the new supervisor or next year, if I've forgotten how much we've met, I can go in throughout your researcher reflection space and count up the time that you've met. So if you meet with supervisors, I would give them permission to record it. So supervisors, ask your kids, like, can we record this? So I could post it on our, so you can post it on the researcher reflection space. That will be so helpful to new supervisors next year, to people who take over midstream and that sort of thing. Okay. Now, the next thing is that once you do some preliminary research on your topic, like I said, we are going to be sending out some guidance on that, on how to access the databases and how to do good searches and that sort of thing. Once you do some research, some preliminary research that's helping you narrow down your topic, then what I want you to do at that point is to post any sources that you find. So add new entry again, and you can upload files. You can put photos if you've taken pictures of pages. You can, if there's a video that you watch, if there's a website, you can, however you want to do it. You could even do a journal entry that's kind of like an annotated bibliography. So however you do it, what I would like for you to have by April 3rd, and I'll clarify this in the to-do list. I would like for you to have about 3 sources before spring break, and before you check in with your supervisor again, because I think you need to talk to the supervisor about what you've read and discuss, okay, here's kind of where I'm going, because after spring break, our next step is going to be writing the research question. So right now, I don't expect you to have a fully fleshed out research question. I don't expect you to have a all of your research done, but this part of the process is really narrowing your topic. And so if y'all will do that, that would be great. And of course, you can reach me anytime. I will be happy to help. I'm going to stay. I know many of you have heard I'm going to be taking Miss Thomas's place next year as IB coordinator. I'm going to keep some of my EE kids. I think some of them may go to Miss Pettit Shaheen, but I am still going to be EE coordinator as under the umbrella of IB coordinator. So I promise you I'm still going to be around and helping you with all of this as we go along. Here's the thing, though. Ultimately, what I'd like to see is some communication between supervisors and students on that notes section. And then I would also like to see one video. So you've got the next 2 weeks to have a meeting. It could be 10 minutes, it could be 20, however long, but I think you need to talk with your supervisors virtually, using Zoom or FaceTime or something, but try to record it and place it on that research or reflection space. Now, final thing. So I have put a to-do list on here for EE and COVID-19 times. So, here's what I'd like for you to do is I would like for you to have a virtual check-in with your supervisor. I would like for you to watch for those lessons to come out from me and Roddy on the research piece. Make sure you're always posting the time, the amount of time that you met, using that check-in session with minutes. Supervisors, I want you to keep track of your interactions using those interview notes. I want you to do some research, kids. So anything that you do, download it. If it's a PDF or save the link or whatever. If it's in a database, though, just remember database URLs. You can't get into them just by clicking on them there because they're often password protected. So you may want to download it and save it, and put those on your research or reflection space. As you're going, please ask your supervisors questions. I mean, that's what we're here for. We want you to ask us questions. And right now, with all of us being homebound, I mean, we want that interaction with you. And so, if y'all want to share phone numbers to FaceTime or to text each other, that's fine. Just remember that you need to document your time worked. Also, if you have any video conferences, like I said, put it on the RRS, or you can communicate through that notes feature. And then finally, the last thing is that I want you to have a research proposal entered on your worksheet, so that we are ready after spring break to do our first reflective session, which is going to be on your finalizing your research question. Now, I say finalizing loosely, but here's how that works. So edit extended essay proposal. So I've already put your subjects in there. You could go ahead and put your topic ideas in here if you want to. You could put potential research questions, or you could leave that blank. Sorry, wrong box. You could leave that blank for now and just put the topic in. Like, here's the topic I'm thinking about, because this is always editable. But you can put some of your rationale right here. So like when y'all were proposing what subject you wanted and what topic ideas you had, this might be a good place to put that. And save that so that your supervisors will see it. I do not expect a research question by spring break. Please understand that. I do not expect a research question, but I do hope for you to find a more narrow topic. Last thing, there was one last thing I wanted to show. On the worksheet, you can check these things off as you do them, and supervisors, you can also check them off. I would like to see check boxes, that these things have taken place. And finally, I just want to tell everybody that I know EE is not the top priority for everything right now, but next year, hopefully, all things are going to be back to normal. Right now, they're not normal. And in a way, I almost think this may be the most organized we've ever been. Because we really do need to be documenting these things. And I am hoping that you will come out of this flying. Roddy and I will be in touch. We've got some good ideas of, getting y'all into these resources that will help you. But for now, you just concentrate on the next best thing and stay 6 feet away from everybody, and don't go to restaurants or, public gatherings, and you just stay well. And we miss seeing you so much. So hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.